Aaron had great hair and great eyes, but the thing that really knocked my socks off was the first thing he ever said to me. Hey, my name's Aaron. I'm writing a book about Italian fascism. Are you interested in the subject? Hell yeah! This is exactly the kind of line that's designed to work on me. I'm a 24-year-old, relatively poor graduate student living in a group house. And here's this 35-year-old, grown-up professor who's writing a book. He lives in his own apartment. He goes swing dancing and antiquing. He is, in short, the very essence of the sophisticated older man, the successful grown-up that I long to be and that I long to be with. But I have to say that getting to know Aaron was a bit of a slow-rolling process. Yes, he told me early on that he'd been married before, and that was fine. But it wasn't until 6 months in that I learned about wife number 2. I totally couldn't trust her, Renata. I mean, she took all the money from our wedding, and she bought the tackiest furniture ever. And I totally made her take it back. Hello, wife number 2? Talk about trust issues. I'm feeling about right now. This is a bit of a breach that I'm just now learning about wife number 2. On the other hand, I like that he's marriage-minded. You know, I want to be taken seriously in this relationship. That has its benefits. And in fact, he does take me seriously, and he asks me to move in. And it's pretty good. I get to have all the kind of intellectual conversations I've always wanted, and we go to these great places. And okay, I'm starting to notice that I'm wincing a little bit when he says something particularly harsh to the waiter or to me. But I learned how to deal with it. I start taking a lot of baths. Because in our apartment, the bathroom is one place I can kind of like shut the door and wall myself off for a while. And you know, maybe that's not too big a price to pay. A little wincing, a little extra baths, for the things that I really like about this relationship. Well, eventually he asked me to go meet his family. Now, I am super excited, right? What girl would not be super excited at this? So we jump in the car, and we drive all the way up to upstate New York, and we pull in front of this charming little Cape Cod. And I get out of the car, and I notice that there's ice covering the path up to the door. And of course, I'm wearing heels. So as I'm getting out, I'm sort of looking for him, you know, to hold on to walk up to the door. And as I look up, I see that he's 4 steps down the path. And now he's 8 steps down the path. And now the door is opening. And he has walked in. And the door is closed behind him. And I'm still at the car. What the fuck? Does he not know how important this is to me? Does he not know how nervous I am about this, meeting his family? He's just abandoned me here. And, you know, I am like, okay, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. And, you know, it was sort of boneheaded move, right? So I teeter-totter on to the door. But, of course, it's very hard to maintain that kind of attitude when you open the door and there's suddenly 5 pairs of unfamiliar eyes looking at you. The aunt, the uncle, the cousin, the mother, and so forth. Well, they're all reasonably nice. And everybody settles back down into their seats in the living room. And now I have another problem. I am suddenly realizing that I'm stuck in a perverse game of musical chairs that I've already lost. Because there's literally no other seat in the living room for me to sit in. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd be able to say, hey there, someone, could you get me a chair? But this whole weird walk up to the house has gotten me so flustered that I am paralyzed. And I'm like, well, do I kind of perch myself awkwardly on the arm of the sofa? Do I lean against the wall and hope that somebody notices? Dear God, let somebody notice. But nobody does. Not the boyfriend either. It's a long and chilly 7-hour trip back to DC. But truly, when you are living with somebody, there is a strong incentive to look on the bright side of things. Because if you look on the dark side of things, that might mean you'd have to contemplate moving. And moving sucks. And anyway, I'm really looking forward to something. The movie Titanic is about to come out. Hey, what could be better, right? Big, sweeping, epic romance, gonna cheer me right up, gonna boost the romance level, be great. So a couple weeks later, we go to the movies. And I'm sitting there, and I get to that scene in the movie where Leonardo DiCaprio's character is handcuffed down in the boiler room, and the water is pouring in, and Kate Winslet is going, I am not gonna let you die down here. I am getting you out of here. She's hacking at his handcuffs with an axe. This is a really poignant part of the movie, because what it speaks to is the fact that even in the worst circumstances possible, you're there in it with another human being. And I look over in the dark to my boyfriend, and I suddenly have this moment of clarity. And I think, I am not too sure that if I was handcuffed in the boiler room, he'd be getting me out. But maybe more importantly, I'm not too sure that I would be getting him out. I think I would be heading for the lifeboats at this point, because the fact is, our relationship was a sinking ship. It didn't matter how much champagne we were drinking. That boat was going down. So I didn't exactly run out of the movie theater, but pretty soon after that, I packed up my bath salts, and I moved myself out. He called me a few months later, and he said, hey, Renata, I just wanted to share with you the good news. I'm engaged. And I said, congratulations, and I hung up the phone. And I thought, thank God I got off that sinking ship. Just the right time. Thank you.